Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Meteorologist Edward Shaw, and we're going to go through a quick weather update real quickly as we take a look at what we're tracking for tomorrow with our Weather Authority Alert Day. Obviously, going to have the potential for severe weather throughout most of the morning and into the early afternoon hours, with damaging winds becoming the biggest threat, especially when that initial line moves through. Tornadoes and hail are unlikely, but they're still possible. There's a non-zero chance we see either of those. And if we do see either, it's going to come later on in the afternoon, early in the early afternoon, between probably about noon to 2 p.m. But again, very conditional based on what we're seeing. Skycam network right now, you can see some of those clouds building in parts of the New River Valley out towards Wytheville and even Blacksburg. Now, that's going to continue overnight tonight, and that's going to end up being some of that cloud cover that we end up seeing as this system moves through the area. Taking a look at our current radar, you can see today's Storm Prediction Center outlook with a lot of the area along the Gulf Coast being that area that's primarily affected, along with several severe thunderstorm warnings along that line, including from Madison all the way down into Jackson, Lincoln, even as far south as Louisiana. No Mardi Gras celebrations certainly going on right in there. So about 6 or 7 is when I'm expecting that tail end of that system to end up hitting New Orleans. So certainly going to be something to monitor out there for them. As for what we can expect, we tomorrow are under a slight risk, so level 2 out of 5, but we do have parts of the area that are under that enhanced risk, along with most of the coastal Carolinas, all the way up into the Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads area. With that being said, the reason for that, primarily going to be wind. Wind's going to have a pretty good shot at seeing damaging winds from this front as it moves through. Again, hail, tornadoes, going to be conditional. If we do see any of those discrete, as we like to call them, pop-up cells come after that front passes, that's the system that we're going to expect to see any kind of tornadic development. But again, very conditional based on how this front behaves over the next 12 hours. Flooding, not all that worried about, as this is going to be a very fast-moving system. So we could see a few areas that briefly start seeing some flowing water, specifically on roadways and sidewalks, but it's not going to be anything all that widespread. Timing of this storm, areas further to the west in the New River Valley, going to be likely between 6 to 8 a.m. So right as you're heading out for that morning commute, if you're heading to work, taking kids to school, whatever the case may be. About 8 to 10 a.m., that's going to be widely when parts of the eastern New River Valley, up and towards Blacksburg, Christiansburg, over by Virginia Tech, Roanoke, Bedford, all the way up into Hot Springs and as far south as Martinsville. That's the greatest time for them. And then the rest of the area, east of Lynchburg, parts of South Side, just going to see about 10 to 12 for that. But again, conditions going to be gusty in terms of wind throughout the day. Clouds and radar, let's take a look at that real quick. Again, you can see that cloud cover slowly building into some of the far southwestern parts of the state. But as we go further out west, you can really see that system just churning along and spinning. Very large storm system, one that's producing several high wind warnings across the area. Even seen a few tornado warnings. There have been a few confirmed tornadoes, parts of Louisiana, further up into Arkansas as well as this system has progressed. And we're starting to see that primarily enter the eastern part of Louisiana up into Mississippi and parts of western Tennessee. Tornado watch in effect for that area up until about 8 p.m. tonight, after that system is expected to pass. And as the sun goes down, we'll start seeing this system weaken just a little bit. The good thing with this system and us is the fact that it's hitting in the early morning hours before any significant daytime heating has occurred. Had this been hitting in the afternoon, we could be looking at a much stronger system after we see a little bit of sunlight and energy. But because of the timing of this, it's going to make it a lot more bearable for us. So let's time that out for you. You can see today that system churns along to the east. Areas along in Alabama, up into Tennessee and Kentucky, certainly going to want to be wary of severe weather, possibly overnight tonight, given the fact how strong that system is. You could start to see this system weaken a little bit by about 3 a.m. tonight, and by then we could start even seeing a few showers within our area in the overnight hours. This system moves further to the east, and you can see it's out of the area by about 1 p.m., entering Roanoke anywhere between 10 and 12, and well, 8 to 10 and then 10 to 12, and then out of here by about 1 p.m. Now, this is the part that's a little bit more up in the air that a lot of models are currently on the fence about what's going to happen following this front. So, it's going to depend on the amount of daytime heating we have following that, given the fact that we are going to see skies actually clear up afterwards. With that being said, again, let's watch that one more time, a little bit slower. We get into early tomorrow morning, and that's when that first line is expected to head through the area, 7, 8, 9, most of the New River Valley and Roanoke Valley, 10 for part areas to the east. And again, that system, I think, is going to be a major problem for areas such as Richmond, along the I-95 corridor, and into the eastern Carolinas. So thinking Raleigh, down Fayetteville, Greenville, all the way down towards parts of Wilmington, and then as it heads further to the east, eventually the Outer Banks and parts of Virginia Beach and the Corrales Sound. That's the entire system, though, out of the area by later on in the evening. But these storms that pop up here, some models are saying that they're going to be a little bit more intense than expected, but most of them are thinking it could just be a few pop-up showers that come as a result of the atmosphere destabilizing a little bit due to that influx of sunshine. One thing that is 100% going to be a thing tomorrow is going to be wind gusts being rather gusty. So we've already seen wind gusts be pretty solidly gusty. But as we get into tomorrow, we'll start to see that front. You can tell where that front is on this graphic. Getting up gusts possibly anywhere from 50 to 70 miles per hour as this front passes in some of those higher elevations. But for the most part, between the 30s and 40s in terms of wind gusts as it passes and heads further on to the east. But you notice even afterwards, after that front passes, we're still going to be rather windy throughout our area, just given how everything is set up. So certainly going to still feel the winds, already feeling them today, but they're going to continue into tomorrow as well. As for that wind forecast for the next 7 days, wind's not exactly going to go away overnight. It could remain gusty for the foreseeable future, at least up until Thursday, before we start calming down a little bit more on Friday. But again, still going to be something to watch for over the next few days. And those wind alerts, this is 100% going to likely be extended to the east. Several wind advisories in effect for parts of West Virginia, down towards Mercer County, Wythe County, all the way in Wytheville, Independence. And taking a wider view, a good part of the country, nearly the entirety of the southeast up into the mid-Atlantic, under wind alerts, given how windy it's going to get from this storm system. Again, I fully expect those alerts to get pushed further to the east for our region, but we'll just see. High temperatures, this is going to be part of the reason we have any bit of thunder. If we do see some thunderstorms, it's going to be temperatures getting pretty warm. Roanoke at 67, Blacksburg 63, Lynchburg at 67, Alta Vista 69, along with most of the south side. Only area really being in the 50s is going to be Independence, and that's going to be because that front passes early on down there. It's going to limit the amount of heating up they can do once that cold air surge comes in right behind this system. As for the next 7 days, again, that alert day tomorrow. Tonight, we're going to be rather mild overnight in the 50s. But then Thursday, going to be back into the 40s thanks to that cold front that's passing through tomorrow that's causing all of this. And then we end up pretty nice for Friday, 58 degrees, and start cooling down a little bit more Saturday and Sunday. Could see a few showers every once in a while, but nothing like what we're going to see tomorrow. And then Monday, warming back up, about 58 degrees, plenty of sunshine. As for our other 4 zones throughout the area, again, that alert day for tomorrow, not today, that's going to be something that's nice. Once we get it over with, we'll be back into calmer conditions, mostly sunny skies, and maybe a few showers during the weekend. But overall, certainly starting to feel like spring.